Today we are talking about swords and dancing with swords. So this is just going to be a couple of essential things to consider when purchasing your sword and also while dancing with a sword. You want to think about the weight of the sword. That's really important. Some dancers like them a little bit heavier. Some dancers need them a little lighter because of the wrist. So if they're very heavy, they can be difficult on the wrist. So think about those types of things. The other really important thing is it has to balance, right? So if it lays flat, it's not a balanced sword. And the balance is not in the center usually of the sword. It's usually closer to the handle. This area is a little bit heavier. So you want to think about that. Does the sword balance on its side? One of my things that I really have a pet peeve about is when dancers grab the entire sword here. It really takes away the illusion of the danger of working with a prop. And you always want to keep the element of danger as a mystery. Maybe the audience knows or doesn't know if it's a sharp sword, but the minute you touch it here, immediately they know it's just a prop and it's not actually a real sword. So as you're starting to think about your balancing ideas and concepts, start with an easy idea of just shifting the weight side to side and then maybe ups and downs, and think about little variations of that. One of the first ones we're going to do is just taking it on the hands here, right? What is the other hand doing? So you want to make sure that the other hand has a position or is involved. Thinking about little ideas like that. Now, we're going to take it, I'm going to take it to my dominant hand. This is my right hand. And we're going to take it into a circle. You're going to rotate it, and then you're going to take it up and around. So as I come around here, I make sure I pull back, take it around, and then I've got to use a little bit of momentum to get it up and around. The momentum actually really helps me to keep it from sort of tipping over, if you will. So these are nice to do like really slow. You can add a little hip circle there, and then take it up, maybe into a big hip circle. Take it up. You can take it around with a turn. Little level changes with that. But first you want to really think about, and then keeping the fingers open. So the visuals of that here, so you're not grabbing it, thinking about keeping the hand and the fingers nice and together, if you will, like a little pancake. All right, let's play with some other balancing. This is my favorite, my hip extension. And somebody was, oh, you have to have a waistline. No, you just have to tilt the upper body and have some strength in that standing leg. So I'm using my dominant leg here, and I like to present it, lean my upper body far away, get it up into my waistline here. But it's really about the tilting of the body. Toes are pointed here. And then you can play with the arms. You can play with level changes here. You can take it around. So really get comfortable with that. I like to do these little level changes here because that's how I'm going to use the momentum to get around in a circle. We're going to use that when we do our routine, when we meet up online. So here's some balancing. And the minute you go straighter, you'll see that there's more risk of the sword falling to the floor. So keep that lean, a lot of weight in that standing leg, and a lot of oblique work, nice and strong. Then when you grab it, make sure you grab underneath it, and you can extend and present it here. So again, you never ever grab the sword. All right, let's take it over to our shoulder. So you can hold it with your handle here, and you should be able to hold the sword with one hand. So make sure they're not too heavy. You gotta really consider those things when you're working with your prop. Here, you're gonna take it to your shoulder, move your hair out of the way. You can have your costume there or you can have your skin there. It just depends on what feels good for you. So find that balance, let go. Here. And then the same thing, let's think about weight shift. I personally love a good hip circle here. And you want to think about a position with the hands. You can also do level changes. You can do belly work. But really think about the movements you're going to use and make sure that you can execute those movements easily and with fluidity. That's really important, not just to throw anything in there. So when we do our routine, we're going to have a set of movements that we do. And you can travel around with this. You can add a turn. And you see that I'm going nice and slow. And then here, if it starts to fall, don't use your neck to grab it because you're going to kill the illusion. The other thing I wanted to mention that depending on the brand or type of sword that you use, there's these ridges. Let me show you with the camera. So this one has these ridges. And the other thing you can add to that is a little bit of silicone, like a little bit of tacky glue. And the glue just makes it sticky. You want to make sure it dries. So it should be completely dry. Or use a candle and put some wax on there. You can just rub a candle on it and you've got some wax there. And it just gives it a little bit of grip and it works really nicely. Back in the day, I used to use sandpaper and it used to really leave a big red mark on my hip and my shoulder. The other one I like to do is the balancing on one leg. So this is where your yoga technique is really helpful. Point those toes and then lift the leg up. Make sure that foot is not flexed. Point the toes. And again, you want to present it nice and slow. Get it on. And then once you're there, this is a wonderful opportunity for upper body, chest circles. Maybe you're just finding your balance. Beautiful hands. And then for fun, see if you can drop down to the floor. Woo. You can go into the splits. You can do a lot of variations of that. But that little bit of a level change is something really nice. I'll try to put that into our routine when we get together. And then again, when you're lifting it up, I'm just going to keep coming back to this because it's so important. When you lift it up, you go under, and I use the backs of my hand, the backs of my fingers here. Framing it here. Presenting it. Taking it around in a circle. Level changes. Make sure you can hold it and sustain it. Whew. And of course, we want to balance it on our head. And I feel like I always want to use this technique at the last part of my routine because I think it's the most impressive and it's where the audience usually has the most reaction. So, lift it up, present it, and don't rush this part. Make sure you get it right because you don't want to be here and then tilt the head. I've seen that. And if it's not right, just go and fix it because it's not going to fix itself. Release the hands. Nice subtle weight shift. You can try a nice figure 8 here. Make sure the face is relaxed. Often your face can get really tense. So always practice with a soft, relaxed face. Let's try some figure 8s. Arms can float. You just think about that weight shift side to side. Reverse figure 8s. And of course, level change. Arm patterns. So just playing with that. And a little tip, when you want to turn, you can just take one arm behind, and the arm behind is the direction that you're going. And then when you stop, otherwise the sword will keep continuing to turn around your head. And you'll discover that really quickly when you want to add turns. So really easy, turning in this direction. It'll be left for you. Bring that arm up. Make sure the fingers have energy. And you can just do a turn. You can also spin with it. So you can build up that speed. And when you're done, again, go from underneath and present, right? So it's always something that you're presenting, something very special and very important. So really find that connection, and you've got to spend time with that. Like any prop, you've got to spend time. You've got to have time under tension, just getting used to it, getting used to the weight of it. And whatever sword you're working with, it's going to have a different weight, it's going to have a different center. So keep practicing these balancing exercises, getting really comfortable with your sword. We're going to use these in our upcoming routine at my monthly meetup at my Hip Circle online. See you soon at my Hip Circle. Maybe around in a circle. No, you might be in concentration.